From a scholarly perspective, security is a state of being safe and the absence of fear, anxiety, danger, poverty, and oppression. That is one of the major roles government across the world plays. And the other way is insecurity. And by the record, some of the points I got somewhere indicates that insecurity is enabled because of unemployment, imbalanced development, corruption, weak judicial system, porous borders. And looking inwards, given the security challenges we have in Nigeria, the government has been doing a lot, and it didn't just start today. Right from the return of democracy in 1999 to date, a lot has been playing out in Nigeria, and government has been trying its very best. But it looks as though government is not doing much because, one, people play politics with it. At every security challenge as it presents itself, instead of looking at it from a nationalistic perspective, people play politics with it. After all, it is said, when a bomb drops in the market or a bomb drops maybe in a major event in the country, it does not know which political divide you belong, which religion you belong. So how should we conduct ourselves given the situation we find ourselves as an elite, as a politician, as a statesman, as a citizen, as a law enforcement agent, as a law officer? That will be the focus on discussion segment on Insight today. National security challenges, the way forward. Now I have to sustain this discussion Austin Brimo. Austin Brimo is the chairman and coordinator of Buhari Media Organization. He's now joining me on Insight.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, I also have a journalist and a public affairs analyst, Ido Samuel.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
I'm happy to be here.
Beautiful. Well, it concerns us in the media, given the fact that we play a role when there are issues that tend to put a crack in the indivisibility of Nigeria. We are concerned. Given the developments recently, how should we conduct ourselves to ensure that, not minding where we come from, Nigeria remains intact?
Thank you. The events of the past few weeks are quite disturbing. And knowing what security means to human existence, these are issues and these developments are things that all our leaders and those being led should have a rethink. I think the most critical thing to human existence as persons, as humans, one is security, because self-preservation is said to be the first thing, the first human reaction to anything. Any environment you are in, you think of your security first before you think of comfort. And the events that we've experienced in the past few weeks have been politicized in such a way as to put the entire nation in jeopardy, it means security-wise in jeopardy. For those of us who experienced the unfortunate incidents of the Nigerian Civil War between 1967 to 70, we find some of the events happening now highly disturbing, like I said before. Because by the time we are taking issues of security on the realms of political interest and lineage, we play politics with security matters, we want a lot of things to go wrong. And look at even within the military, for instance, when a highly placed person like General T.Y. Danjuma, a former chief of army staff, a very, very senior officer who knows what security is all about. When you go on air or to a public place to say Nigerians or certain people should rise to defend themselves, or to accuse the military that you are and you are existentially a part of that institution, you help to shape it, and you come out to say these people your group is partisan, then you are telling us not to trust the Nigerian army. Well, it is not within my capacity to address issues concerning an elder statesman of his caliber, but that shows what we are getting into. So do you see, both the ruling party and the opposition party are allowing a lot of sentiments to go into very, very critical matters of state security. And when you say some groups, so you have militants, whether it's from Niger Delta, whether they are headsmen or wherever they come from, and we begin to impute other motives to their activities. We do not want solution to that. It's highly unfortunate that if security threat from the Niger Delta militants, for instance, whether they are from Niger Delta or not, but hoodlums are there kidnapping white men or killing people, kidnapping, or you have some in Benue, you say they are headsmen, they are kidnapping, and we begin to say, all right, the military or the police that are supposed to protect us are taking sides. Rather than examine the cause or what is responsible or how this can be curbed, we begin to castigate the very, very apparatus we've all set up to mitigate this kind of things. Then certainly we want to be very far from the solution. And this is highly disturbing. And we can never have progress, we can never have a headway if we continue this way.
Okay, now it is possible that, like he said, unguarded comments from some class of persons, some groups can lead to a balkanization of Nigeria. But that is not the issue, because right from the first national anthem, which says Nigeria we call obey, though tribe and tongue may differ in
unity we stand. Yeah.
Now, what should Nigerians as a people be doing? Because one, we talk about the influence people have. In your community, in his community, he has influence at that level. The church leaders, the Islamic clerics, name it, they all have influence at their various levels. Given the way it is now, it's possible that if we go this way, there's a tendency that the trust by the people will be lost from government. What should we be doing?
Well, let me start by saying that we have a beautiful country, and all of us have a duty to protect and save it. Nigeria appears to be in danger at the moment. We don't have it, we shouldn't allow that thing to persist for a long time. The Nigeria I grew up to know has always been very peaceful. I remember when I started journalism, I would leave Ibadan, go to Kaduna, sleep. 3 weeks, I would not have any cause to worry about anything. There was peace everywhere. But now, before I go to any part of the north, I would think twice, because of the mindset that you may get in there and something untoward might happen. Now, coming to the question, and the more reason why I said it's a collective responsibility for us to put Nigeria together and sustain the unity and indivisibility. Yes, we have a government, and the primary duty of the government is to provide security. But I tell you, government alone can't do it. To provide maximum and adequate reassuring security in a country demands that everybody must be conscious of the implication of sustaining that security. You play a role, I play a role. Now let me tell you, if you look at your community, Nigerians are very resilient people. You know, at a point in time when we started getting it wrong from the military era, Nigeria didn't just sit back. Nigerians organized themselves in groups. In your community, for instance, now, you had your own security. Am I right? My own community, even government didn't have to play a role there. Once there's absence of government at a particular point, now you see the people coming together. So what do we do? And you see people contributing, employing security guards to guard their community. At what point in time did we begin to lose this sense? We do not have to defer to government at all times, because from the look of things, the government is overwhelmed. And in terms of comments that we make, we have to be very, very careful too. We have to be extremely careful. We're in a perilous time, like he pointed out. And the best way to save a perilous time is to calm the frayed nerves. And we do not have to depend on anybody to do it. We will do it by ourselves. So everybody has a role to play.
Okay.
It is not only the responsibility of the government.
Beautiful. Everybody has a role to play. It is not only the responsibility of government. I'm quoting Idowu now. Now, it has reached a stage where, one word, trust, confidence plays out everywhere. And when certain persons speak, it's possible their comment has a stronger permeation than even maybe a government institution. It has gotten to where maybe you're driving on a lonely road and you find a checkpoint mounted by military men, police officers, and the first question you ask is, where are these military men from? Where are these police officers from? It has gotten to that stage. What kind of strategy should be put in place to ensure that this trust is fully restored? People now live in fear. If I see a police officer, can he serve me well? If I see a military officer, has he taken side? There's this picture created that even security structures put in place to secure us as Nigerians have been compromised. But it's difficult to believe. But whether we like it or not, a group of a segment of society have tended to follow this and they believe. How can we upturn this?
This problem has to be solved from the top. We are losing grounds. Unfortunately, there is no time. I think our leaders, our elders, our senior citizens, they need to have a rethink what kind of country they want. The problem is not at the base. Our leaders are playing politics with the existence of this nation. And I dare say, because I'm also getting into the realm of senior citizenship, our senior citizens do not want this country together. Because if you look at the leadership of various ethnic groups, the kind of utterances they are making, you know, I mean, what do they want the youth of this country to do? What do we want the under 20, under 30, under 40, who are still vibrant? What do we want them to do? If leaders from various regions, an ethnic group will gather and begin to think only in terms of what is their interest, the interest of the North, the interest of the South, the interest of the West. If this one is not done, we are ready to cause this, we are ready to do that. I dare say that our leaders need to have a rethink. Even religious leaders, they need to have a rethink about our coexistence in this country. They are sending wrong signals to the youth. And it is not possible, like my colleague said, for anyone, you cannot expect, like when we're growing up, we could travel to anywhere, like he said, without minding our religion or ethnicity, and stay and mingle and live. It is no longer the case. We are losing, the elders are losing the essence of their age. You could apply to the kind of joke we used to have when they said some very, very early youths stopped one elder man who went to one village and stole a fowl, put the fowl in one bag, and because the youth know him, they apprehended him and said they wanted to look at the content of his bag. And the elder, knowing that if he should allow them to look into that bag, they will lynch him, he resisted. And they said he would not move unless they see that bag. So fortunately for he saw one elder coming. And this elder is known to be very, very vocal. And so the youth said, okay, let this man examine your bag. If you say we cannot examine your bag. And the man, the elder, the chief said, okay, yes, please come and examine my bag. Whatever you see, tell them. So when the elder came close, he gave him the bag, said, please use old man eye to look this bag. On sensing that, he looked at the bag, he saw the fowl, but close, he said, youth, there's nothing inside this bag. And so he let the man go. And what does that mean to us? Yes, if he was to say the truth, they will lynch that man. And what would that have led to? Because of a fowl, you kill a human being. We've lost that essence of the sense and the eye of the elder, which that story tend to signify. So our elders are now selfish. They just say things that will that will lead to anything. So I don't see why we should still be at our level of development and growth in this country after all these years of living together. It is now that everyone is thinking in terms of ethnicity. Want to amplify the interest of my ethnic group, the interest of my religious group. I think we need to go beyond it. So the problem is at the top. We must solve this problem at the top. Even politicizing issues is even one of the game plan. So after we see the chauvinism ethnically, leaders that have benefited so much from this country, who have benefited from our coexistence as a nation, whose life, who have made it today because they are Nigerians, they now want Nigerians to split. I think we need to have a rethink. And from every sector, from every angle, our elder statesmen, our senior citizens, our religious leaders need to go back and sit down and tell themselves what the direction they are giving to our youth. Let them examine, let them think deep. Where are they driving us to? It is not about PDP and APC or APGA or anything. It has nothing to do with politics. Restructuring and so on and all these sentiments, yes. Are you going to have restructuring at the expense of Nigeria? I think our senior citizens and elders and religions need to sit down and look at this country and decide whether they really want this country to live together, or they want us to split, or they want to have another civil war before they know that they are driving us aground.
Okay. The nation at some point went into inflation, recession, and a lot was done by the government. The economy was reflated. And we technically came out of recession. It's possible that if we allow some of this thing to overplay, all that has been done amounts to not, because investors and all the benefits that came in will fizzle out.
Yeah.
So, which way out?
Well, the way out is to continue to invest trust, confidence in the government of the day. I like the example that you cited. When we had recession, everybody was crying. It looked as if Nigeria was going to collapse. We had to move from one space to the other. It was difficult because there was no money in circulation. But the government showed resilience and determination, and they kept on assuring people that recession was just a word, and it will go. And in less than a year, I think we surmounted it. That's not the first task that we surmounted in Nigeria. You remember when Ebola hit the country? Nigerians rallied forces together. You can see the spirit of togetherness. Some people sacrificed their lives, and we overcame it. Even this insecurity will still look as good as overcoming it, minus some incongruities that we are beginning to notice with our elders. I think it's a matter of time. Now, you remember, not quite long ago, there was unrest, in the South. It appeared as if it was going to engulf the rest of the country. Yeah. But the military tagged Operation Crocodile Smile. Yeah. And within a few weeks, the tension calmed down there. Then it escalated in the Southeast. Nigeria is a very funny country. The Southeast took over. And then the military again used Operation Python Dance. And before you realize it, tension calmed down. Taraba, Benue, Plateau, they tag their look at what is happening in Benue now.
Right now is
Operation Ayim Akpatuma. And we can begin to see reflexes of progress. Don't mind the sentiment being whipped by some people. Akpatuma, Operation Ayim Akpatuma is making progress. I was excited some 2 or a week and a half ago when I read that community leaders gather some food items, yam, cockerel, fowls, and some other items, and went to give the head of a military operation there to say, thank you, we repose confidence in you. I mean, that is interchange of confidence. If the military was not doing well at that point in time, there will be no such gesture, mind you. And we are reading progress report on arrest of headsmen almost on daily basis. Up till last weekend. So this is part of the government. Now, the government is demonstrating capability. If the government is demonstrating capability, you do not sneer at the government. Because that's the only thing you have at the moment. If there's no government, if there's absence of government, anarchy is what we have. Anomie, restlessness, strife, and then the total collapse of the entire country. And do not forget, government did not just emerge in vacuum. Government emerged from history, social contract theory. Before the emergence of governance, we had life that was solitary, nasty, brutish, and short. There was reign of anomie everywhere. Okay. What was ruling was the rule of might. Okay. You are strongest, you have your way. But until some philosophers now sat down and say, no, if the world continues like this, it will go into extinction if you, okay, there should be a contract. Now, everybody should submit his right to government, and government should do the needful to protect those rights. But in Nigeria, we have to learn how to service that social contract. And the best way to service it is to invest in government invest hope in the government, believe that government can do it, and cooperate with the government.
Okay. Just one word as a wrap-up, reassuring Nigerians.
Yeah, I think there's hope for this country. You mentioned economy, and I think today we can now get a bag of gari at less than 4,000 naira, a big bag. About a year, 2 years ago, it was
But
about
if you're not
8,000.
secure, will you be able to eat it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Okay.
it's part of the challenges.
Okay.
The economy is growing, and it is enough reassurance that things are improving. And that if the last 3 days, Nigerian Stock Exchange said 22 companies have declared profit of about 264 billion naira profit at this trying time. About 22 companies declared that profit for their shareholders. I think there's hope for this country.
Okay.
A lot of reasons why we should smile in spite of the security challenges.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. I believe that we now know that this whole thing is not about government. It's about all of us,
All of us.
working collectively, not minding which political divide, which ethnic divide, which religious divide you belong. And as a leader, we have leaders at the strata, at the village level, at the national level. You have a role to play because at every level you have an influence. And if we collectively put this together, then the government job will make it a lot easier. And also we have been able to sustain the discussion that the government institutions need to live up to their bidding so that Nigerians see them as
Yes.
not being
Responsible.
compromised, being very witty, acting like the hot stove theory. Well, Idowu Samuel, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us on Insight.
Thank you very
Idowu
much.
Samuel is a journalist and a public affairs analyst and chairman, coordinator, Buhari Media Organization, Austin Bryan. It was nice sharing your thoughts with us on Insight.
Thanks.